My name's Connor. I'm 24, just out of college, figuring things out, and, like half the guys in this town, still crashing at my parents' place while juggling a construction side job and a half-hearted attempt at starting something online. But this isn't about work. It's about something that happened 2 weeks ago. Something I haven't been able to shake since. It started on a Thursday, early evening, just past 7. The kind of gray-skied October day that can't decide if it wants to rain or not. Leaves all wet and stuck to the sidewalk. I was heading over to my friend Mason's place. He'd asked me to help bring in a new dryer his family just bought. Typical suburban chore. Lift something heavy, get a free beer, maybe stay for a game. His family's house is just a few blocks from mine. I'd been over there 100 times. But that night was different the second the door opened. I expected Mason, but it was his sister who answered. Ava. She was older than Mason. I remembered her from years back when she used to drive him around. We never talked much then. She had this untouchable vibe. Sharp eyes, sarcastic smile, always on her way out. But tonight she wasn't going anywhere. She was barefoot, black leggings, a loose gray sweater falling off one shoulder. Her hair was tied up in a way that looked accidental but probably wasn't. And she was holding a mug, steam still rising from it. Mason's late, she said. No hello, just that. You're early. Traffic was nothing, I replied, stepping inside. The smell hit first. That faint clean soap scent of fabric softener mixed with something else I couldn't place. Candles? She turned, walked down the hallway without another word. I followed, trying not to stare. The laundry room was tucked at the end of the hall, across from the kitchen. Small space, stacked washer and dryer on one wall, a shelf with towels and detergents above. The new dryer was already inside, still half wrapped in that crinkly plastic. I was about to ask her if Mason left any instructions, but she bent down and started tugging the protective wrap herself. You can just watch, she said without looking up, or be useful. I stepped in and helped, hands brushing the sides of the machine just inches from hers. The room was tight, too tight. Every move had to be careful, coordinated, or we'd bump into each other. And we did. Twice. I don't remember you being this quiet, she said suddenly, standing upright. I don't remember you ever noticing me. I shot back before I could filter it. That got a smile out of her. A slow, knowing one. You were just a kid then, she said. You're not now. It hit harder than it should have. Something in the tone, maybe. I looked at her. She looked back, unblinking. A low hum filled the room. The washer had started, full spin cycle. It rattled slightly in its place, that familiar deep rumble echoing off the walls. White noise. Cover. She moved past me to grab a towel off the shelf, and her arm brushed mine. I didn't move. Where is Mason? I asked just to say something. Out picking up food. Should be back soon. How long soon? She didn't answer. Instead, she turned around slowly and leaned against the edge of the washer, arms folded across her chest. You always show up early? She asked. Only when I don't know what I'm walking into. Then maybe you should stop knocking. That moment stretched. The sound of the washer filled the silence between us. Deeper, louder. It was the only thing moving, but the tension felt physical, like the air got thicker just standing there. My eyes dropped for a second. The way her fingers gripped the edge of the machine, the way her sweater slid further off her shoulder. I forced myself to meet her gaze again. Her voice dropped slightly. You should wait in the kitchen, unless this makes you uncomfortable. It doesn't, I said too quickly. The front door clicked open. Voices. Car door slamming. Mason's laugh rang from the driveway. Ava didn't move, just looked me over once, head tilted. Then stay right where you are, she said softly. Let's see what happens next. Footsteps were getting closer. I heard a key drop, a paper bag rustle. Mason's voice, almost at the kitchen now. Ava pushed off the washer, brushed past me again, and walked out like nothing happened. I stayed frozen for half a second too long, the machine still humming behind me, the space she'd left still warm in the air. Then I followed her out, heart pounding harder than it had all week. Dinner was casual. Mason dumped takeout boxes on the counter and opened beers like it was just another Thursday. Which, for him, it was. I kept my hands busy, setting out plates, unstacking napkins, anything to stop myself from glancing across the kitchen too often. Ava was quiet, sitting at the far end of the island, legs crossed, sipping from the same mug she held when I first arrived. Her gaze never stayed long on anyone, but once, just once, it caught mine across the rim, and something held there for half a second too long. I broke it first. After we ate, Mason headed to his room to grab some cables for the TV. Ava stood, collected the trash, and disappeared down the hallway with it. When I offered to help, Mason just waved me off. She's got it. Ava always takes control of everything around here. I smiled politely, but my mind wasn't on his words. It was on the way she'd left the room. No hesitation, like she expected me to follow. I waited 10 seconds, then stood up and slipped away. The hallway was dim, lit only by the warm glow from the kitchen behind me. I followed the sound, not of the washer now, but of a soft drawer sliding open. The door to the guest room was slightly ajar. Ava was inside. I pushed the door open gently. She stood near the bed, placing the empty takeout bag into the small trash can in the corner. When she turned, she didn't look surprised. "Wrong room," she said quietly. "Is it?" I replied, voice just as low. She glanced at the door behind me, then crossed the room to close it almost all the way. Not a full click, but enough to shadow the light from the hall. Her movements were unhurried, precise. The guest room was small but neat. Folded blankets on a chair, soft light from a single lamp. The air smelled faintly of lavender, maybe a spray, maybe her. The window was half covered by a curtain, and I noticed for the first time a small security camera mounted under the roof outside, facing the driveway. "You see that?" I asked, nodding toward the window. She stepped beside me, her arm brushing mine. "Dad's idea. They're all over the house now. Front door, backyard, garage. He's been paranoid since someone broke into a neighbor's car last summer." "You think they record sound?" "No," she said with a small shake of her head. "But they see everything else." I didn't move. Neither did she. From the hallway came the faint sound of Mason's door opening. We both stilled, shoulders close, breathing quieter than necessary. His steps passed by, going toward the kitchen again. A few seconds later, the fridge door creaked open, then closed. Ava exhaled, just a whisper of breath. "You always this brave?" I asked. "Only when I think someone else will blink first." I didn't blink. I reached out and lightly touched the edge of her sweater sleeve, just below her elbow. She didn't pull away. A few inches between us. "I used to hear you in this room," she said suddenly. "Years ago. You and Mason playing video games until 2 in the morning. You'd yell every time you lost." "I haven't yelled in a long time." She looked up at me, closer now. Her voice dropped. "I think you're holding a lot in, Connor." My name on her lips made my throat tighten. We were too close, too quiet, and the house wasn't empty. Then a sharp knock. Both of us jumped. Ava stepped back fast, smoothing her hair, her breath caught for a second. Mason's voice from the other side. "Yo, Connor, you still here? TV's ready." I opened the door halfway. He was standing there with a soda in hand. "I'm coming," I said. "Was just, looking for the bathroom." Mason nodded. "You passed it." He laughed, then walked off toward the living room. When I turned back, Ava was sitting on the edge of the guest bed, legs crossed at the knee, one hand gripping the hem of her sweater like she hadn't realized it had slipped lower on her shoulder again. There was something else in her lap now, a small object I hadn't noticed before, a white laundry tag, the kind you peel off new towels or sheets. She ran her thumb across it absently. You dropped that? I asked. No. Found it on the bed. She held it out for me, then didn't let go when I reached. Her eyes searched mine again, less guarded now. I'll be in the laundry room later, she said softly. Washing a load. I took the tag from her fingers. Didn't say a word. Then I left. Back in the living room, Mason was flipping channels, already half invested in a college football game. I sat down beside him, the tiny strip of fabric still crumpled in my palm like it meant something more than it should. And I couldn't stop wondering, if that knock hadn't come, would I still be in that room? Outside the window, the red light on the driveway camera blinked once. Recording. I didn't plan to go back the next day. I told myself it was just a one-time thing. Tension, curiosity, a moment that got away from both of us. But then Mason texted me around noon. Dryer's making weird sounds again. Dad's freaking out. You free to check it out? I hesitated for 10 minutes before replying. Be there at 4. When I arrived, the house looked the same, quiet, comfortable, completely unaware. Mason greeted me at the door, all casual, same hoodie from the night before. He waved toward the laundry room and said something about their dad watching me on the camera last time, making sure we didn't scratch the new machine. I nodded and headed in, feeling eyes on me that weren't really there. The washer was still running. I could hear it from down the hall. I stepped inside the narrow room. The hum had become familiar, like it was waiting for me. The room smelled like lavender again. The shelf had been reorganized. Neater. The laundry tag from yesterday was sitting right on top of the machine. Not on the floor. Not thrown out. Placed. I picked it up. You came back, Ava's voice said from behind. She stood in the doorway, hair wet, twisted up in a towel, wearing a loose t-shirt and shorts like she hadn't expected anyone. But her eyes said she had. She walked in, closed the door behind her halfway, never fully. You left this, she said, nodding to the tag in my hand. I thought you placed it here. Maybe I did. Neither of us laughed. We stood there, close again. The washer was louder today, shaking slightly as it spun. It vibrated the floor beneath our feet. Ava leaned back against the shelf, fingers brushing bottles like she was trying to decide what to hold. I stepped forward. Then her phone buzzed. She didn't check it, but I did, not the phone, the sound. 3 fast buzzes. Urgent. A 4th, delayed. Then a knock. Hard. Mason's voice. Connor, man, cops are outside. You parked weird. I backed up. Cops. She moved past me, opened the door. The buzz from her phone flashed across the screen. Dad. When I stepped into the hallway, Mason was already by the front door, arguing with a uniformed officer. Apparently, someone reported a suspicious vehicle partially blocking a neighbor's driveway. Mine. Do you know how to park? Mason hissed, trying to keep it light, but I saw the tension in his shoulders. Sorry, I said. I was distracted. I moved fast, corrected the car, and when I came back, Mason was talking to Ava now. She had changed into jeans and a zippered hoodie, quick, efficient, neutral. Her face calm, her posture unreadable. Mason waved me off. It's fine. Just don't get us flagged on the HOA list or whatever. But when he walked away, Ava lingered in the hallway. You brought eyes with you this time, she said under her breath. You left the door half open. You like that, don't you? I didn't answer. Later, when Mason left to grab groceries, I stayed behind, claiming I wanted to run another test cycle on the dryer. Ava reappeared 10 minutes after he drove off, quieter this time. No knock, no words. She slipped into the laundry room and closed the door. All the way. We didn't move toward each other immediately. She sat down on the dryer, legs hanging. I stood opposite her, the laundry tag still folded in my pocket like it was part of me now. You kept it, she said. I nodded, pulled it out, handed it to her. She took it, then gently slid it back into my shirt pocket. Her hand lingered. It's yours now. Then she leaned in and kissed me. Not soft, not delicate, but direct, controlled. I responded. For seconds, the world shrank to that small, humming room. The walls, the shelf, the spinning machine. Just us, finally moving past the edge. Then footsteps, quick, coming from the back of the house. Ava pulled back immediately, hand on my chest, eyes wide. Someone's here. She moved fast, opened the cabinet, pulled out a laundry basket, shoved it toward me. Fold. Now. The door swung open. Mason's mom, mid-50s, sharp, brisk. Oh, she blinked. Didn't know you were still here, Connor. Just helping, I said, holding a crumpled towel. Her eyes moved from me to Ava, who was already bent toward the washing machine like nothing had happened. Ha! Her mother said slowly. All right, just make sure you two don't break anything. And she walked off. The door closed. Ava stayed bent over the machine, her back rising and falling. The tag fell out of my pocket as I moved, landing near her foot. She saw it. She stepped on it gently and didn't look at me. I'll text you, she whispered, still facing the machine. I nodded once and left without saying goodbye. Outside, the cop car was gone, but I felt watched anyway. The next few days moved in fragments. Texts that said nothing. Glances across rooms filled with people. Ava and I became experts at pretending, at not existing when others were around, speaking through details, not words, like the folded white laundry tag that reappeared each time I came over. Once in the dryer vent, once tucked under the laundry detergent, once inside the pocket of a hoodie Mason handed me when it started raining. We never talked about what it meant. We didn't need to, but the pressure started building. Not just between us, but around us. A tightening ring of suspicion that neither of us had to name. It came in Mason's half-jokes, his dad's offhand questions, even his mom's suddenly sharper looks when she entered a room we were both in. Friday night, they had friends over, loud conversation, wine, card games in the dining room. Mason had gone upstairs with one of the neighbors to set up a fantasy draft. Ava passed me in the hallway and dropped a key into my palm without slowing down. Guest room. 10 minutes. I waited 12. When I opened the door, she was sitting on the floor, back against the bed, hoodie zipped to the collar, legs drawn up. She looked like she was trying to forget something she hadn't even done yet. I sat beside her, close, but not touching. Tell me to leave, I said. She didn't. Instead, she reached into her pocket and pulled out a black marker. No label. She uncapped it slowly and held it out. Turn around, she said. I hesitated, then did. She drew something on the back of my shoulder. Slow, deliberate. Couldn't see it, but I felt every line. Her fingers grazed my skin afterward, sealing it. What was that? A signal, she said. Just for me. I turned to face her. Her breath was close, but her eyes weren't playful now. They were tight, like she knew what was coming. Your dad's putting in another camera, I said. Mason told me. I know. In the laundry room. I know. We were quiet for a long time. Then she whispered, "This has to stop." And I nodded. Because it did. Because someone was going to see something, or say something, or catch something. We didn't kiss. We didn't hold each other. We just sat there, both of us staring at the spot on the wall where the curtain didn't quite reach the edge of the window. I left that night through the side door. It was raining again. The next week, I didn't go over. I made excuses, and when Mason asked, I said I was buried in work. Ava didn't text. I didn't either. But the day after that, I opened my front door and found a small white envelope on the porch. No name, no writing. Inside was a folded sheet of paper. Nothing on it except a tiny black mark drawn in the corner. The same symbol she'd drawn on my back. No words, just that. I looked up. The street was empty. The camera above our garage had a red light blinking. I stepped back inside, closed the door, and tucked the paper into the laundry drawer in the hallway closet, right beneath the detergent. It's been 3 weeks. I still go to Mason's sometimes. We nod, watch games, talk like none of it happened. Ava stays distant, unreadable, controlled. But sometimes, when I pass her in the hallway or catch her near the washer, her hand brushes the corner of the shelf where the detergent sits. And I know she's checking. The washing machine still rattles during spin cycle. And sometimes, I think I hear something louder beneath it,